12 seasons ago. Cristiano Ronaldo gave us one impossible mission: bring the Premier League trophy home. Back then, we had nothing, no history, no reputation, no stars. Just a group of dreamers fighting for survival in England's 6th division. Season after season, we kept climbing. Season 1, we started from the absolute bottom, the 6th division. Season 2, we celebrated our first promotion, fueled by Ronaldo's massive investment. The arrival of prodigy Zerato. Season 3, Messi joined us and we dominated the league. Season 4, we earned promotion to EFL League 2 and dominated it again. Season 5, the traitor Krog leaves us. Season 6, we celebrated promotion to the Premier League. Season 7, we survived the brutal Premier League relegation battle. Season 8, Modric launched the CY Infinity Fund. We finished 6th and qualified for Europe. Season 9, we mastered tiki-taka, conquered the Big Six, and finished 3rd. Season 10, we pushed for the title but finished 2nd. And Zerato finally claimed his first Ballon d'Or. Season 11, we finished 2nd again, just one painful point behind. One promise remained unfinished: the Premier League. And now, Season 12, everything changed. We finally completed that promise. Not only that we conquered Europe, we became world champions. By the end of the season, there wasn't a single trophy left for us to chase. This is the story of the greatest season in CY8FC history. One day before the new season officially began, a group of men in black arrived outside of the CR7 stadium, carrying a mysterious case. Without saying a word, they made their way through the tunnel and onto the training ground. The visitors weren't scouts. They weren't journalists. They were representatives from Genius World Records. The entire squad gathered around as the case was opened. Inside, a golden certificate. CY8FC had officially broken the world record for the greatest rise through the English football pyramid, from the 6th division to become one of England's most successful clubs in just 12 seasons. But while everyone celebrated, they delivered another record certificate for one of our players. They officially recognized Zerato as the greatest goalscorer in Premier League history. With 262 Premier League goals, he had already surpassed Alan Shearer's record of 260. But for Zerato, he wasn't finished yet. Meanwhile, CY Infinity, initially founded as a modest local project by Luka Modric, had officially matured into a massive global merchandise empire. It exploded worldwide. The reason? Zerato, after lifting his 2nd consecutive Ballon d'Or, combined with the enduring aura of CR7, global jersey sales completely fractured the market. Everyone wanted the iconic CY8 shirt. The growth was so enormous that CY Infinity approached us with the biggest sponsorship deal in club history, a 40 million base sponsorship, plus a 20 million bonus. But the bonus comes with a price. By the mid-season break, we had to be first in the Premier League. If we failed, we would be forced to pay back that $20 million instantly. At that point, it would be a financial disaster, and I would have no choice but to sell some of our top superstar players to clear the debt. The pressure had already begun. Yet, combined with another $10 million cash prize for winning our 2nd consecutive FA Cup last season, we entered the transfer window with a $70 million available. This wasn't a normal transfer window. This wasn't about building for the future. This was about winning now. During the off-season, the scouting department had zero time to sleep. We were flying across the globe, desperate to find players that could finally deliver us the Premier League title. But before we could even make a call, the entire footballing world converged on my desk, with Zerato coming off back-to-back Ballon d'Or and establishing himself as a 95-rated god of the game. Every single club wanted to sign him. Manchester City offered a record-breaking offer to bring him to the Etihad. Real Madrid desperate to pair him with their Galacticos. Paris Saint-Germain prepared to build an entire tactical squad system around him. Barcelona wanted him as the missing piece in their striker position. He could have chosen any club, any wage, and any luxury lifestyle he desired. The global media was losing its mind, waiting to see where the best player in the world would land. But Zerato didn't care about the money. He looked at me in the office and said, "Boss, ignore them. We have unfinished business. Let's go get our brother." Instead of signing with a global giant, the best player in the world boarded a flight with us to Germany to find Spencer Kinder, our original number 8, the greatest partner Zerato had ever played alongside, the golden pair years ago. I had made the hardest decision. I sold him. Yet his departure had left scars. His relationship with Zerato had been damaged. The dictator era of Season 7 changed everything. Back then, Zerato cared only about himself, goals, awards, records. Friendship came second, and Spencer Kinder paid the price. So when we traveled to Germany to meet him, the moment we entered the room, Kinder broke down, not because he hated us, but because his football career had turned into an absolute nightmare. He wasn't playing. He wasn't trusted. His talent was fading on a Bundesliga bench. Yet despite all that, he had watched every CY8 match, every trophy we lifted, and he was proud of his old club, proud of what we had become. Then, the door opened, Zerato entered. The room went completely silent. Years of history stood face to face, and then the captain spoke. He looked Kinder in the eyes and completely apologized for everything. The selfishness, the mistakes, the pain he caused. The self-centered dictator in Season 7 was gone. Standing there was a true leader, who finally understood that greatness means nothing if you reach the top alone. Spencer Kinder didn't hesitate. He forgave him immediately. The golden pair was reunited. The legendary number 8 shirt was waiting in his locker. We handed him the contract on the spot, and he signed without a single second of hesitation. Spencer Kinder was back home. To take the next step, we needed the best players to assist us to the road of champion. We strengthened every position. Every signing had one purpose. First came Vinicius Jr., one of the most dangerous wingers in world football. Yet what shocked everyone wasn't the transfer. It was the shirt number 1, a winger wearing number 1. Football fans everywhere lost their minds. But Vinicius had his own reason. He wanted one final, unique challenge to prove himself in England before retirement. Then came Vitinha, the perfect midfielder. There was simply no one better on earth in the defensive midfielder position this season. And finally, Schlotterbeck arrived from Dortmund. The final piece of the puzzle, the strongest CY8 FC squad ever assembled. A minimum of 80 overall in every single positions. We marched into Wembley for Community Shield against Manchester City to test this new lineup. The execution was flawless. Attacking, defending. Dominguez opened the scoring. And then the stadium witnessed pure nostalgia. Kinder received the ball, spotted his old partner. One perfect through ball, one perfect run, one perfect finish. The golden pair had returned, like they had never been separated. 3-0. Manchester City demolished. We won the Community Shield, the first trophy of the season, the perfect beginning of Season 12. The Season 12 finally arrived. Our opening day began with pain. Manchester City, Holland scored. But Zerato equalized. City scored again. But Zerato equalized again. A penalty. A chance for the hat-trick. A chance for victory. Saved by the keeper. In the dying moments, Turkey unleashed an unbelievable strike. Off one post, off the second. 3-2 defeat. The champions deserved their victory. Everyone knew exactly what that defeat meant. The opening day defeat changed everything. It didn't break us, because greatness isn't born from victories. It begins with failure. It awakened us. West Ham, a dominant bounce-back win where Vitinha controlled 100% of the pitch. Bournemouth, Captain Z Ratto smashed home a spectacular poker. Liverpool, victory. Vinicius assists Z Ratto for the opener. Another penalty put the game beyond doubt. Aston Villa, the match turned into a one-sided masterclass. Chelsea, Z Ratto bent in a banana free kick that left the goalkeeper rooted to the spot. One by one, clubs arrived believing they could stop us. They left empty-handed. The chemistry of the golden pair remained untouched. If Z Ratto was the sword, Spencer Kinder had become the hand guiding it. Meanwhile, another legend quietly continued writing his own story. Week after week, Donnarumma reminded Manchester City exactly what they had thrown away. The win streak continued. We won literally every single match following the opening day defeat. And 12 matches into the season, the table finally changed. Manchester City dropped points. We climbed to first place. At this point, the entire Premier League had a problem. CY8FC. Because every single week we looked stronger. Every victory brought us closer. But every victory also made us the team everyone wanted to beat. Every single week Z Ratto looked hungrier. And every single week, the golden pair looked more dangerous. The two men celebrated together, side by side, the same way they did years ago. The same way fans had dreamed of seeing again. The golden pair was truly back. The wounds of the past were finally healed. The king was entirely unstoppable. Newcastle attempted to stop him. Instead, they watched him score another hat-trick. 19 goals in just 13 league matches. People were beginning to ask a question. Could he actually beat his own record? Could he somehow surpass 61 goals? Then came Arsenal. They were playing haramball, determined to end our winning streak. 90 minutes later, they left wondering how they lost. Z Ratto scored a brace against them. We destroyed Southampton for 2-0. Right after that match, the big screen showed that City had suffered their first loss of the season to Fulham. The gap was opening. We closed out Game 18 with a 7-1 destruction of Hull City, highlighted by an incredible hat-trick from our own academy graduate, Matt Hammonds. By Christmas, everything was perfect. But a terrifying coincidence was waiting for us. Every team in England failed to stop us, except for the city of Manchester. Manchester City beat us in the opening day. And now, we traveled to Old Trafford to face Manchester United. The final match before the mid-season break became one of the craziest games of the season. 1 minute, that's all it took for the golden pair to strike. A dream start. But United refused to surrender. Ryan Fofana equalized, then scored again, 2-1. Z Ratto scored a sensational equalizer to make it 2-2. But Fofana scored again, completing his hat-trick to put United up 3-2. Z Ratto responded right back, 3-3. Hat-trick versus hat-trick. But Fofana found another level, striking a fourth goal, a poker. Old Trafford erupted. 5-3 defeat. Despite the loss, we remained first. We are officially 7 points clear of Manchester City. The sponsorship challenge completed. The $20 million secured. No forced sales. No financial disaster. And now, we could focus entirely on football. Notably, Spencer Kinder played at a world-class level since his return to the club. Declan Rice as well, who officially announced on social media that this would be the final retirement season of his historic career. The second half of the season opened with our massive rematch against Manchester City. City played well, but we are better. Mickey van de Ven rose above their lines to score the only goal of the match, locking in a crucial 1-0 victory. That officially widened the gap to 10 points. Next up was West Ham. Rado scored a brilliant hat-trick with almost every goal to the same angle. A hilarious moment where an opponent player accidentally passed and chased the ball himself in complete panic for 2-0. Against Bournemouth, they caught us sleeping to take an early lead in the first half, completely underestimating our captain's determination. 1-2, we completely reversed the scoreline. 2-1 win. Against Liverpool, Donnarumma showed his immense world-class value yet again with multiple stops. And Rado smashed in the winning goal. 1-0 victory by game 30 against Tottenham. Matthijs Tel scored a brace, handing us a 2-0 defeat. This is only the first loss of the second half of the season. After the game, my phone rang. It was Modric from CY Infinity. He brought us good news. Our jersey broke the all-time global sales record. It wasn't just a club shirt anymore. It was a global phenomenon. Everyone on the streets were wearing CY8 jersey. Next, looking into the fixture lists. We need to face Arsenal 3 consecutive times, both in Prem and Champions League. We talked about Champions League later. Looking across at their goal line, we found a familiar face. Our former loaned keeper, Sen Lammens, positioned in the goalkeeper position for the Gunners. Perhaps they paid PSG the astronomical price. Game 33 at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal scored an early goal. But Rado quickly equalized to secure a 1-1 draw. At this moment, we are already the absolute favorites to win the Premier League trophy, the ultimate dream of the series. We needed exactly one more victory to lift the trophy. The very next match day, we faced Southampton for the Premier League title. And yes, the boys delivered a masterclass. We are the champions. We lifted the Premier League trophy. After 12 long seasons, we had finally done it. But the job wasn't finished. We had 4 more games left before the entire season was wrapped up. On the final day of the Premier League story, we faced Manchester United in an unbelievable display of historical respect. The United players lined up and performed the Guard of Honor for us. Our boys were already completely checked out celebrating a 1-0 defeat. But it comes the perfect ending of our Premier League campaign. We finished the Premier League as the champion. 100 points, 33 wins, 1 draw and 4 losses. Completely beyond the Big Six. Rado became the Golden Boot winner yet again with 47 goals, adding it into the all-time top scorer record book. A total of 309 Premier League goals. 12 seasons. One impossible promise completed. The Premier League title was ours. We had finally brought the Premier League trophy home. But as we stood there celebrating, nobody wanted the story to end. Now, it was time to conquer everything else. The Carabao Cup. We made rotation changes in the second round, but still managed to score 7 goals against Charlton. We followed it up with a 5-0 win over Walsall, where Rado scored a hat-trick, but Vinicius Jr. was awarded man of the match, leaving our fans asking if our captain had been completely robbed. We met Newcastle next by knocking them out 2-1. Quarter-final, we advanced past Brighton after an absolute masterclass from Kinder, 3-0. Then, the semi-finals against Tottenham. Our defenders played a flawless first leg for a 1-0 aggregate lead. Another tight second leg forced us into a high-intensity penalty shootout that we successfully won to book our place in the final. Then came the match everyone had been waiting for, the Carabao Cup final against Manchester United. It was a phenomenal game from start to finish. Zerato opened the scoring with a world-class free kick. Minutes later, the golden pair combined again. Zerato assist kinder to make it 2-0. But Manchester United responded with resilience. Having adjusted their tactics and pressed high, they fought their way back into the game and eventually forced an equalizer. They came close to scoring a late winner, but Donnarumma showed them his quality. 2-2 at the end of extra time. It went to a penalty shootout again decides the win. The team stood up first and smashed in our opener. United stepped up and the goalpost saved it. Moraes and Pelletier buried theirs. But the drama twisted when Naipan and Spencer Kinder both had their penalties missed. Last one, Donnarumma became the savior. We won the Carabao Cup for the very first time in our club history. The trophy was ours, with Zerato standing as top scorer with 9 goals. Then comes our FA Cup journey. We knocked out Plymouth for 2-0 in the third round. Annihilated Norwich City 8-0 in the fourth round. Edged past Forest 1-0 in the fifth round. And eliminated Birmingham City 3-0 in the quarter-finals. After a gritty 1-0 semi-final victory over Aston Villa, we marched straight into our third consecutive final at Wembley. The FA Cup final against Liverpool. It's Wembley again. Tresoldi struck first for Liverpool to put them ahead. But our Brazilian superstar found an immediate equalizer. And at the critical moment, Captain Zerato drove into the tightest possible angle, smashed home a spectacular winner. Liverpool pressed for an equalizer in the closing stages, yet the defense remained solid. And here we go. A breathtaking 2-1 victory. Another FA Cup trophy. We had officially won the domestic treble, champions of the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. With England completely conquered, the focus then turned into the competition every great club dreams of winning, the Champions League. Our campaign started with complete destruction. Club Brugge, 7 goals. No mercy. Just a reminder that CY8FC had arrived on the European stage. We ground out a 1-1 draw against Lille. Against Porto, Rodrigo Moura is such a talented player. A tough match where he hit an incredible hat-trick past Donnarumma. Unluckily, he is not in the 2026 World Cup squad. In the game against Barcelona, no one could score. We held a fierce draw, then Galatasaray, where Zerato netted one to give us a victory. Next, Juventus to 2-0 victory. Then we took a rotation break against Hoffenheim where Myra stood up to score the winner. We played the final game before knockouts against Sparta Praha, a 3-1 win. This time we finished in the top 8. In the round of 16, we drew Juventus. By the way, Barcelona facing Real Madrid is insane. We took the first leg 2-1. In the second leg, Openda smashing home a spectacular hat-trick. But our squad rejected the exit. We advanced 6-4 on aggregate to the quarter-finals. Our quarter-final opponent was a familiar enemy, Arsenal. In the first leg, Zerato scored the opener. But Zhao Xuan equalized. Naipan restored our lead with a spectacular curving strike. But Arsenal equalized yet again. In the dying minutes, our captain stood tall, breaking through their lines to score a brilliant brace and secure a thrilling 3-2 victory. In the second leg at the Emirates, holding a narrow advantage, we defended with absolute steel. Zerato scored a crucial rebound after a fierce shot from Myra. Vinicius Jr. broke free to score a spectacular second. We won the match, heading into the semis. On the other side of Europe, absolute underdogs were tearing down giants. Lazio knocked out PSG 4-3 on aggregate, and Porto stunned Barcelona 2-1. Our chance of winning the Champions League was highly likely. In the semi-finals against Porto, the first leg belonged entirely to our captain. Zerato unleashed a beautiful free kick and another for a brace. He completed a spectacular hat-trick with an assist from the goalpost itself. The hero of the night. In the second leg at the CR7 Stadium, it was total domination. Van de Ven scored the opener. Naipan doubled it. And the golden pair tripled the score. An aggregate of 6-1 finished the underdog story of Porto. That led us to the final boss in the Champions League final. Bayern. It's now or never. Captain Zerato delivered a lightning-fast start, scoring a 1-minute opener. Soon after, a brace. At the other end, Donnarumma pulling off several world-class, critical saves to preserve our lead. The final whistle blew. We conquered Europe. Champions of the Champions League. The dream season was complete. Zerato broke Cristiano Ronaldo's record by scoring 19 goals in a single Champions League season. Our season is over, but the postseason's games were waiting for us. We have more crowns to claim. Since we were the official champions of Europe, we were invited to the Intercontinental Cup. It was a piece of cake. In the semi-finals, we faced Wellington Phoenix from New Zealand. The champions of Oceania, Tim Payne's club, a comfortable 4-1 win. In the final, we faced Columbus Crew from the United States, champions of CONCACAF. A ruthless 7-1 destruction where Zerato scored another poker. The easiest trophy so far. The final frontier of our 12-season journey, the FIFA Club World Cup. We were drawn into Group C, alongside America Decali, Al-Wada, and the French giant, Paris Saint-Germain. Our opening group match against PSG started with an immediate advantage. In the 8th minute, their star João Neves was sent off with a straight red card. Zerato capitalized on the space instantly, burying a world-class free kick to put us up 1-0. But it was Kvaratskhelia who showed us his big game mentality. He took over the pitch, scoring a brilliant solo goal, handing us a 3-1 defeat in our tournament debut. We responded with pure rage, completely destroying Al-Wada 9-0, powered by another majestic Zerato poker. We wrapped up the group stage with a comfortable 4-2 win over America Decali. We finished second in the group, and the knockout draw delivered absolute cinema. We had to face PSG again in the round of 16. It was one of the most grueling defensive wars in the club history. Donnarumma defended like a man possessed against his former club, pulling off unbelievable reflex stops to keep the sheet clean. But the match descended into complete chaos when Captain Zerato received a straight red card and was sent off. Moments later, their midfielder João Neves was also sent off. Both teams fought with 10 men through an exhausting 120 minutes of football. finishing deadlocked at 0-0. It all came down to a penalty shootout to survive. Declan Rice stepped up first and scored, matched by PSG's Desire Doué. Our golden boy, Heredia, stepped up for our second and missed. Kvaratskhelia buried theirs to put us behind. Vitinha scored our third, matched by Bradley Barcola. On our fourth penalty, Vini Jr. chose to shoot directly down the middle, but the PSG keeper read it perfectly. We had missed 2 penalties. We were on the absolute brink of elimination. Donnarumma looked at the bench, stepped onto the goal line, and knew he had to save the next 2 consecutive penalties to keep us alive. He saved it. Kinder hit in the 5th penalty under maximum pressure, and Donnarumma saved it again. It went to sudden death. Pelletier scored for us, and they matched it. Schlotterbeck calmly buried our 7th penalty. Donnarumma pulled off the final save. He had single-handedly eliminated his former club in the most dramatic shootout of his life. What a game with PSG! The tournament bracket cleared out beautifully as major global giants were knocked out across the board. Sporting eliminated Real Madrid 1-0. Juventus bypassed Barcelona 3-1. And Bayer Leverkusen shattered Manchester City 2-0. We met Juventus in the quarterfinals, with our captain officially suspended due to his red card. Spencer Kinder stepped back into his original striker position for the first time in a long time. Cole Palmer scored an early opener for Juventus, but Kinder showed his world-class vision, providing a beautiful assist for Vitinha to strike the equalizer. Late in the match, we won a critical penalty. Vini Jr. stepped up, completely erased his previous shootout miss, and buried the 2-1 winner in the semifinals against Porto. Both defensive units played a flawless match, refusing to give an inch. But our returned captain found one single, legendary moment of space in the box, smashing home the 1-0 winner to book our place in the final. That led us directly to the Club World Cup final against Inter Milan, the absolute final showdown. Vitinha struck first for us. The double tackle couldn't stop him. Esposito found an equalizer, and just 2 minutes later, Nkembe doubled it. The golden pair executed one final piece of telepathic magic, a stunning equalizer, 2-2. Vitinha found himself in the perfect position and scored, 3-2. We won the game. We won the Club World Cup. We are officially the best football club. Zerato finished the tournament as the undisputed MVP, claiming 10 goals as top scorer and 6 assists as top playmaker. Then comes the individual awards ceremony, and CY8FC shined in the ceremony. Zerato secured the Global Golden Boot. Donnarumma was officially crowned Goalkeeper of the Year. And to cap off the greatest individual career in football history, Zerato was awarded his 3rd consecutive Ballon d'Or. This season we won all trophies we could win. 7 trophies in a single historic season. The perfect ending. What an legendary season. No club in football history had ever made it, not even the Prime City. We also won the European Super Cup against Tottenham to add in the 8th trophy. The MVP of this series belongs to one man, Zerato, finishing his historic career with an astronomical 679 goals across 12 seasons for CY8FC. Right after the trophy lift, the club hosted a historic celebration inside the CR7 Stadium, where it all began. Every single former player who had ever bled for this badge was invited to return to the pitch, one by one. Familiar faces walked through the tunnel, players from Season 1. Heroes and retired legends who had helped build this club for one final night. The family was together again. And even our old traitor Krog came back to witness this moment. All 16 trophies won throughout our history were beautifully displayed, glittering in the center of CR7 Stadium. The celebration doubled as the official, emotional retirement party for our heroes, Declan Rice, Vinicius Jr., Martin Zubamendi, and our Season 1 originals, Jamie Evans, standing before the packed stadium. They officially hung up their boots at the absolute peak of the footballing world. And as the lights slowly fade on the CR7 Stadium, the news feeds are completely lighting up with record-breaking contract offers from Manchester City, Real Madrid, and Paris Saint-Germain, all desperate to sign our king. But our work here is done. We brought the Premier League trophy home. Thank you for walking this 12-season journey with us.